And so I'm down on him, and he was right in front of me.
Yeah.
Right in front of me. Dude just got out of the military, and they came across, and of course you never saw him.
Yeah.
He's freaking out, he's like shaking and shocking.
So I had two over.
The guy on the motorcycle is halfway into the middle of the bridge. I think.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'll take down.
Frames of crack.
Are they in your office?
And
I'll just go get them
his
right
helmet came
now.
off, his head was like
Hey, Paul, we're live streaming right now,
that.
but I want to go ahead and, we'll do the regular oath.
Set a couple of meetings here in the little bit. That's scary.
Alright, how are you doing? One day at a time, that's all they can do.
They saw me.
My mom bought that property. She has a whole we've got that in a couple of years when I sold it. And they sold it, and then they sold it, and then they did it. They're thinking in the, I think in the $700,000+.
Yes, insurance wrong.
If Barbara
Do
Wilson
you live on your
can
boat or
send
in your
her
RV? She goes, you got my email?
Yeah, I thought, it's your prerogative, I didn't respond. It's fine, go ahead.
What's the possibility of getting any valves in? I guess I understand you would not be wise to put new valves on old pipes, that you'd need to at least have a section unless the pipe is. I'm talking about water shutoff, also to isolate portions of the water system. So we don't have to-
So like the main line that we're talking about when it comes off the hill, we're in the process of fixing that now. And but we're not gonna put it, we are gonna put shafts in, but we're gonna replace the line, because the line is such bad shape that trying to install shut-off valves, we're gonna end up replacing the board. It's that bad.
It's already firing up. Yeah, they're already firing up. I looked at the radar before we left the house, and it's already firing up.
You need it all over town, huh?
Yeah, and we currently have some, but they don't work. So we do have them in some places. They haven't been exercised. They haven't been
The farmers are probably.
Yeah, no, some things that we're talking about that are legitimate concerns.
Oh, yeah.
And some of them we don't even know about. there's some lines that either air is hot, you know, because it's not cut off.
Yeah, we had that right back here. We dug down and said, okay, we found a line, and there was another line that still had hot fuel and drink in it. They're all over the place.
And it is kind of nuts. I spoke to that here in the meeting. It's just kind of crazy out there. I mean, big, you know, and there probably is somewhere. It's a pot. Right. Well, I do want to actually make things good. You can take a GPS location. Where it is in space.
Hey, if I send you, you know, the
They
big
know
yard,
it's
how
the one
you
that
know,
said
because you were
Oh, no, they couldn't get you. And the freezer.
the guy who owned that.
And if you don't move, the big girls
Now,
sit there
this
and
tract land that he got from his.
until you get up.
And it's on
The other
top
two
of
have their nose on the freezer, to remind you where the freezer is.
If I can get
Yeah,
that,
yeah, you know.
figure out where it is now.
Oh, yeah, too smart for them.
Well, he wasn't in the first something.
It was funny because like Joe will take our big girls Venus ice cream and act like he's eating it, and then he'll turn it, he's like lick, and she'll sit there and lick it, and he'll do it again, she'll lick it.
Well, he was one of
But when we have
the
chicken jerky for them, he acts like he's eating. None of that. She jumps up, pats her paw on his head, quickly grabs it, and eats. Like, oh, very good, very good.
Some of them were good at.
Loki's still living up to his name, so.
Or several of them lost some of their key people.
I got the paperwork. I should have brought it to Mary. Someone found it in
Start their own firm.
There's no yard.
archive somewhere. It says to Mary.
It's a racket.
Well, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it's like everything else, people go where the opportunities are.
And in the back, if we have the creek, there's drainage for, and it's your drop off.
I'm not done picking the green, but we need to.
Yeah, we were having fun with
Carrot
that
there, so
today.
be careful you work on the edge.
Right.
Well, our property goes to the far side of that white post.
Tour out.
You know where that white post is sticking out? Our property goes to the far side of
Actually, this
that.
is one of the times. where the
Yeah, that's
meeting's
all
over.
my yard.
You'll need a day
It's not an
to
open lot.
address what's happening.
Yeah, they've driven up on
I think
it.
tomorrow afternoon, I
Today,
think.
Are you?
today,
I have a meeting order. Staff.
and, you know, they were nice about it.
So this is the time. we
Chris?
come to say,
Twice a day?
have
But the
anything
head contractor
to
said
say
our
about
door
the
this morning
meaning
at
of
8
this
o'clock.
person?
All night scared.
You know, Jack?
They drove up onto the yard, tried to slam it down and everything. His house.
Perfect.
Okay.
Hey, did
They claim they're gonna fix it.
party.
It's okay.
you get my question?
Yeah.
What did you tell me?
Yeah, no, that's why.
There's
No,
only
that's
one
why.
page I'm aware of.
That's why, you know, it's like,
I do.
Can't find mine. I don't know.
when you come from middle of nowhere, Oklahoma, where
but
you
tonight
have
I'm
sand
wearing
and
this
no
one.
grass, you enjoy your dirt and grass.
I love it. That's
You
funny.
work hard on that grass,
That's
especially since
funny.
we have drought.
But no, Todd, he's out of the state.
Any little
What's he got?
green,
He's out of state. I
Oh, he's
guess
out of state.
He said last meeting he was gonna be, I guess. But no, I do not.
yeah, well, it's our swearing in for
See,
reelection.
I don't think we have any extra days. I haven't made it all y'all.
That's fine.
Good stuff, good stuff.
And I am supposed to go to this.
Yes. Yeah, which one was?
How's the family doing? You doing all right?
People in there, so this one.
No, Darren, Snow, and Carrie, and you.
Was your daughter able to get an appointment scheduled?
Okay, good.
Oh,
That's
okay.
it? That's it right there.
So you didn't have to submit it.
Those are available directly from the general office.
So there's a way to look at that and see what we'd like to do is maybe have a map. We
Well,
know that
well, now for like your younger two,
his wife
you know,
was
they're approving the
Mariana.
Pfizer one, and so the base,
Mariana
that's all they do is
Stephen
Pfizer.
R's wife.
They only, no, they only,
And Stephen R's had houses around.
Pfizer's the one that the government went with for the
Well,
military.
anyway,
So they
Mariana
can,
and Bill Hart.
you can call the, you know, the appointment line and can get them scheduled
He had two.
out at the base.
He had survey abstract 65 and 66.
Oh, really?
I would make some suggestions.
Can I take a picture?
Well, let's see what they have you
don't
go.
mind, that'd be great.
Have you gotten yours yet?
Um,
Yeah, yeah. Well, at the base,
You
they
know where
have
the
this sitting chair.
dry cleaners used to be
They
and
have
now
the
it's
line
kind
up,
of
you know, space
recreation or
apart,
whatever?
and they have like all different
Their parking
staff
lot
there.
at 90
That
was
way,
where the
just,
billboards tracked.
they had one lady
So
distracted.
when they got taken out by 90,
You know, one that, well, they were giving shots,
that's where her
and the
parents
person
were.
never knew
They
that.
I like it. I've read it.
within 2 or 3 years.
Oh, no, no, oh, enough of that stuff, oh my God.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Flinch. Oh, gosh, you know, and I was telling the people that when I was in, you know, in line to get mine, like, all right, don't flinch, just relax and everything, this one girl.
I don't want it.
Did you get your shot today? Yesterday? You doing okay?
My arm's sore.
Growing hair on your knuckles?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Slow down.
yeah. Joe,
Hey,
Joe had the same response for his first and his second, so. Oh, no.
my niece and nephew live in Dallas. They have a 1-year-old baby. They got COVID last week. She calls her mother in San Antonio and Ken, my wife's brother.
I know.
So Ken and Pixie run up there and take care of the
No, I
baby.
get
They
that.
both got
You don't feel
vaccinated.
anything? No, I'm fine.
Yeah. And even though he's been vaccinated, but remember, you're 93%, so he's 7% can get it. So anyway, he got all sick and everything, and he takes 5 pills, so he won't die from it, but he did get sick from it.
Yeah, well, so ideally, I mean, the reason to take it is so that it's not as bad as the future. And
Yeah.
it's not really a matter of if. I mean, it really is a matter of when. I think everybody's going to get it. It's going to be like a flu. I mean, there are very few people. There are very few people. That's what I'm saying. Well, if you're one, I'm great. But
The only time I got
people-
flu is I went and took Tamiflu, and 24 hours later I was happy again.
Well, yeah, they say to take that as soon as you have symptoms.
Yeah.
Get a prescription and take it because you'll be way better.
Dr. Beskin, Dr. Neal. Thank you for that, Paul.
Yeah, this is the Atlantic Ground database, this is the GIS version of that index.
Okay, get it out of your way now before the next round of storms come through.
It's somewhere out in that area.
I got one of these.
Yeah.
I get close enough, 60, it's
Yeah.
65. Those are the survey numbers, and I go back and read the survey.
We like dip. We like, oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, remember when you're active duty? You know, go, and then you have that lull and it's
By the
like,
way, someone you
recharge the
might
batteries. Okay, so you have to go 90 miles a minute.
Joe Fawn is gonna
Oh,
talk
yes.
about the early surveys and why north isn't north and stuff like, oh, Joe Nye.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, much of
Joseph Nye is over in Henness.
600.
Why is there a requirement for oral replication? You know, we signed some
They're
pretty
working on this,
lengthy
and they've
contracts, documents, personally, in our personal lives. We signed all kinds of contracts. We don't have to say anything out loud. We just sign it. You say, did I read it? Yeah, I read it. Did I agree with the terms? Yeah, I agree with the terms. And you sign it. Why do they have to repeat after me? Doesn't that seem kind of
It's
archaic?
amazing when they're going to that stuff and doing all
But I
that
mean,
stuff.
what's the...
Looking at the early flat survey.
The swearing in, I get it, it's ceremonial. I get that. I
That's
understand
all
that
we're
specifically.
the guy
Because
who was making Mary House. I did, and it's, I sent it off.
you have to give me the keys back to that card
Yeah, she's gonna be clear on that tomorrow.
for this illustrious
Hang on one
position.
second.
It's been good. I mean, all the benefits, the hours. Oh, great.
Sorry.
I'll send you the picture or something.
Can we go get your packet right quick?
Oh,
It's been a crazy day. Hi, how's it going?
Congratulations.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah, I got 0 votes.
I was impressed, and you won anyway.
Got 100% of the voter. 0.
I'm proud of you for not voting against yourself.
I wasn't even on the ballot. No.
You had an opportunity to write in a
I
name,
did
though. You
somebody
could have
else.
just written someone in and cast
Could
one
have written
vote.
somebody else in.
And that would have been it.
No, I don't think you can write in the name.
I don't
Not
know.
on those mechanical
Not because
ballots.
there's no,
Yeah, you have to submit by a certain date. Don't ruin my fun, Phil.
I know.
We could use a magic marker, but they might get kind of upset.
Yeah.
You know, somebody was telling me, the city of, since we're waiting for time, the city of Fair Oaks, they just got a new mayor, but the lady who ran, one of the councilmen resigned. If you resign within so many days of the election, it's forced into a special election. So the city's gonna have to go spend $25,000.
I had that happen in Platonian.
Yeah.
Guy got elected and quit that day,
Yeah.
Wow.
which is nuts. It wasn't because of me. I did not do anything.
And I have 2 callers.
Great, all right. All right, let's get started then. Okay, so we're going to call this meeting to order a little bit late. It's 5:04. Thanks for your patience, everyone. Let's start with roll call. We have everybody here except for Councilman Shearhart. Did we get?
He announced last meeting, if you remember, he was going to be out of state.
Oh, that's right. Okay, great. All right, please, everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Please remain standing.
Sorry about that. Dear God, look over our citizens. Look over those who are in need. Be with us as we start this new term of this new city council and help guide us through the decisions that benefit our citizens, benefit the community, and help us work in harmony with each other. Amen.
Be seated. Sure, you thought I was going to get there. All right. Let's move on to citizens' comments. Do we have anybody online that wanted to make a comment?
I have 2 callers, but and they're live, so.
Okay. And callers, just please make sure that you mute yourselves if you're not talking. Citizens' comments, please.
Good evening. My name is Bob Lee. I live at 1314 Gentiles, what soon will be known as Mayor's Street. You'll be the 4th. That's more than 10% of the population on that street has held office up here, maybe 20%. Anyway, I like to watch the meetings online. I can yell, scream, and holler, have coffee, but they don't serve cake online, so I came tonight. A couple of things. Y'all are about to get into the budget cycle hot and heavy. And wanted to mention water and sewer. Those are the 2 things that are totally under our control here. And I know you're aware of the challenges. The system has put undue hardships on the citizenry and the businesses, which have lost tens of thousands of dollars due to water system issues. So I'd ask that you make that a really, really high priority on your list during this budget cycle, is to get the damn water system fixed. And, 2 wells, we're really hanging it out. I know you're looking at tie-in and expanding the other one. But we've got to have generators in order to get our own water to run to our own homes, because whenever those systems go down and people have to now boil, it's just another hardship. And so please make a priority to let us have a good, self-sustained, isolatable water system and a sewer system that will function if we happen to lose power from outside of our own system. You're looking at AMR tonight. I think AMR's got a lot of good points. San Antonio is incrementally looking at it right now, doing a pilot program. When we did the subdivision, the one that you are dealing with now, Station Oaks, when we first started looking at that years ago, and some of the other things we could do, the ordinance, we said, why not have all new subdivisions at least put in the smart meters, even though we wouldn't have the ability to do it, because that that would basically be borne by the house owner, and then when we got to the point we could handle some of that, then the cost wouldn't be so much. We had a program to replace meters on a regular basis here and test them, and then refurbish those and put them in. Of course, like many things, no corporate memory didn't happen. There are a lot of other ways out there that we can check our system right now by pulling 10% of the meters or doing a flow test. You take a 50-gallon, 25-gallon container, hook it up to a faucet, go to the meter, do a reading, do a run, find out if it's accurate or not. And so there's some things you can do right now. And there's some apps and stuff out there that I've talked to the soon-to-be mayor about, where people can actually take pictures with a particular app of all the meters in their house that service their house. Those go to the city and do their bills. Right now, who knows when your meter gets read each month, when one person has to spread that out. So there are some efficiencies we could already have with what we have on hand without doing AMR right now. It'll be available to us whenever we want to do it. But for my nickel right now, I would spend it on infrastructure that services the city of Castroville. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else for citizens' comments? Great. All right. Next item, number 6, canvassing the May 1st, 2021 general election results for District 1 and mayor.
Y'all should have the unofficial results in your packet or your iPads. And the final was J. Darren Schroeder was 269. Mickey Gallegos was 78. Total voting was 347. And that officially, you will accept, when I finish, you will accept this, and then that will be the official canvassing. In District 1, Sheena Martinez had the winning amount of 52 votes. Phyllis Santlaven had 7, with a total of 59 in that district. District 2, Paul Carey was unopposed, and so he was not on the ballot. And if you accept these results, then I will send over to the county, and they will send us back the official, which is going to be the same.
Okay, and how do we accept this?
You can do it by vote.
Okay, just straight out vote?
Yes.
So I'd like to make a motion that we accept the ballot tallies as reported by you.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, guys.
Cool, thank you. All right, next item, swearing in ceremony for Mayor, District 1, District 2, and Municipal Judge.
And if it's okay with y'all, I talked to Darren earlier today, we can do the judge first, and then District 1 and 2, and then I'll do the mayor last. Y'all still want to go through with this, correct?
Last opportunity to back out, I guess.
Carrie's back there telling you about that.
Okay, if y'all don't know this is Judge Thomas Cate. He's been with us, what, over 20 years?
Over 20 years. I was counting earlier today, this November would be 27 years.
Oh, geez.
Wow, thank you.
I've just kept a low profile, just done my job.
And you look so young.
Hey, it don't make me something.
Yeah.
But we're very happy to have him and glad that he has stayed with us this length of time. I've known him for the last 14. So, yeah, I'm glad he, and I don't think he's been able to come the last couple of times. He's been either walking around off doing something, so it's nice to have him here tonight.
Glad to be here.
The oath of office, I state your name.
I, Thomas P. Cate,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of the municipal court judge
of the municipal court judge
for the city of
for
Castroville
the city of Castroville
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve,
preserve,
protect,
protect,
and defend the Constitution
and defend the Constitution
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state.
so help me God.
So help me God. Thank you.
All right, thank you, and I'll get you a copy of that. All right, Miss Sheena.
Raise your right hand. I state your name, Sheena Martinez, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of City Council District 1 for the City of Castroville, of the State of Texas, and will to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States, and of this state, so help me God.
This is your second term, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So, we're very happy to have you stay with us and wish to serve. All right, Mr. Paul. Come on down. You're connected today. That's good. All right. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of City Council District 2 for the City of Castroville, of the State of Texas, and will to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state, so help me God. This is his third term, so he'll be going on 6 years. We like long term. All right, and I'll get y'all copies of these when we get through. All right, here it comes, drum roll. Okay, raise your right hand. Are you ready? Okay, you've been doing these duties somewhat. I say your name.
I, Dean Terrence Rhodes,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of mayor
of mayor
for the City of Castroville,
of the City of Castroville,
of the State of Texas,
of the State of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve,
preserve,
protect, and defend the Constitution
defend the Constitution
and laws of the United States
and laws of the United States.
and of this state. So help me God. You will stay my roommate.
That's right.
If you want to recess this for a minute.
Okay. All right, we're going to go into recess at this point at 5:16.
Okay. The live stream will stay on, so
Okay.
just be aware. That way everybody can enjoy our celebration.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
It is, the vine's getting rained on pretty good right now.
Congratulations, young man. Again. I know that. Him too. King also, I got him to serve way back when. I tried to talk this one out of it, but it Do you have the little red enamel medallion? No, not that. The little round enamel thing that's got the Castroville house in the middle of it. It looks like that on his shirt, except it's a small enamel thing about the size of a quarter, and the mayor's always wore that on a jacket. A little pin, yeah. It's a little stick-on pin. Probably one in the drawer over there. But need to wear that whenever you're out in a public event or something. Yes, it's required. Or you could have it laser engraved on your forehead. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That guy's built. My God. Huh? Is it? Oh. Is it? I believe it. Eagle Scout, that's hard. We used to be involved in that ceremonies with the Eagle Scout stuff. They would invite us and we'd do something. I probably did 2 or 3 of those, got 4 of them. Be invited to be a part of them. We used to have a program with Blackwood. Anytime they had a change of stuff, we would be invited to those events for graduation parties or the groups. Don't know what I do all that. Right up, bye-bye. And we would invite them out here and give them free tickets. I mean, we're just talking a few people, the commander, major hospital commander. We give them tickets to the Westerville colonies. It's our homestay at Christmas time. We're all open. I don't know. COVID, they probably wouldn't. Who knows? Let's go talk to Bob Hancock is the one that set up back at the 2000 first started serving. He's the one that did it. Since he was a colonel, he wanted to do it. I was just a life and stuff. I was trying to figure how many houses on Gentile Street. On the Riverside, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 17 on our side, and less than that on the other side. So if you did the percentage of 7 on the other side, 20-something, the percentages, if you got 4 people, 20-something, still there. Yeah. Scary. Okay, I just came to the trade.
I sent your picture to your wife.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, we suggested that they come out of the park. They thought if it's the same,
I got the husband and son here. I'm doing grand. The kid's back from college for now, so. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, he's going to his senior year. Yeah, he's going into his senior year at the Citadel, so. No, he made Dean's List and Gold Star out there, and he's winning with college credits already, so he's ahead. So he finished everything for his major, which is intelligence and counterterrorism, and so he'll be wrapping up his minor in Spanish. So he'll graduate with 2 bachelor's degrees this time next year, and then he's off in the Navy to start his career. So. Yeah, my dad's retired Navy, and ever since he could talk, it's been Navy. Yeah, that was a joke always with my friends when I was growing up, because we grew up around, Navy and Marine Corps kids all grew up together.
Up behind.
Oh, yeah. Well, like his school for the intel is joint Navy and Marines do their intel school together out at Damnack down at Oceana in Virginia. I said, oh, yeah, my stomping ground. I grew up and down the eastern seaboard from the Caribbean all the way up to Newfoundland, Canada, so.
Yes, we enjoy Newport.
But they got some bigger things to do right now.
Yeah, that's where my dad calls it knives and forks. The school is up in Rhode Island, so he'll go there for a few weeks and then he'll go down to Damnack for school. So,
Somebody's got it out.
Navy. Oh yeah, it's been Navy ever since he could talk. Yeah. Oh yeah. And as they say out there, it's the low, less travel, and it's like, yeah, it sure is.
Just to try to get out the tiles. You know, you almost could use some. You told me you talked about that. You could almost use some clear caulk if you go up there. We did that before. You see them all over the building. Yeah.
I'll see if I can spot the other one, but that one came up pretty quick.
What are you looking for?
The original land grants to Jacob Beery, who was the original owner of the Beery House.
The historic house back here.
Yeah.
One of them is right outside of Hondo. I mean, on the city
You
limits.
think they would have been close to it?
It might even be in the city limits of Hondo.
Yeah.
Where you at?
Right over there near the urgent care clinic.
See, one of Castro's contract conditions was that he got a half section of land for every half section that he got. So if you look at this map, these little rectangles just cover that, well, you can see it on that map, just cover the whole swath right through Medina County. And half of those are Castro tracts. So what happened is these guys may, they may have settled originally in Castro and were stuck here for a couple of years before the land grant process got established. So many of them had grants of land that were miles away.
Right.
I mean, half a day's travel just to get to your property.
Then last month, he went to go get me flowers for our anniversary, and there wasn't any, so.
Well, you're getting flowers today from the city.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, well, I'm not,
You
guys. I'm-
men don't get the flowers.
Okay.
She gets the flowers because she's the
No.
lady.
But I like flowers.
We'll work on that later. I've got some elephant ears back
Isn't
there
that
from
kind of
plants.
sexist? They don't consider us.
I
to be
know,
one
I
flower?
know. But the Kerrigans sent me a ficus. So I got a ficus.
You got ficus?
Yeah. As a congratulations.
From who?
From the Kerrigans.
From
They
who?
live, they just live up the street up here.
Oh.
Yep.
I got some elephant ears that I'll give you that were brought to me that you can plant.
Oh, nice. All right, you ready to get started?
It's got a bag of Bermuda grass.
Nice. Could definitely use that. All right, we're going to come back into session at 5:30. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Appreciate that. All right, next item is consent agenda. This is meetings for April 27th, 2021, regularly called council meeting. Do you have a motion?
Seeing no revisions or corrections, I move that we approve the consent agenda.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm going to abstain because I wasn't there.
Oh, all right. All opposed? And one abstain. All right, motion passes. Next item, number 9, city administrator report. You want me to read all the items, or are you just going to go through? Okay.
I'll take a minute to warm up. While I was doing that, so in your packets are a couple of different items that provided. Unfortunately, as you all know, we had some pretty good storms that rolled through. I'm going to share a few pictures. What we're looking at right now is actually just NOAA radar, what the activity. That's actually real time. That's tonight. You can see some stuff just south of us. That's Amy Divine.
Yeah, west of us.
When we have storms that I'm aware of that are coming, which is usually the case, and rarely do we actually have a storm system that pops up and no one was expecting it out of the blue. When we know we're having them, this is what I do usually. I've got it up somewhere, either on my phone or on my iPad, and I'll just sit there and stare at the screen, and I'll be in contact with Mr. Lutz, who's our emergency management coordinator of the county, and then of course with Chief Jackson, discussing things or alerting them or them alerting me if there's issues. But so we had a couple of different issues. One of the issues was our sirens were not sounded. Now I did have some discussion with the chief and Keith Lutz while all that was happening. And at the time there was no confirmed tornadoes. There was a tornado warning in effect that we knew of, but nothing that was on the ground. I mean, this had some pretty bad winds. Of course, subsequent to that, and even like the day after, the day following, we got some criticism related to the sound of sirens. And the official report from the county was, well, there was no tornado, not anywhere in the county. Not in that, there were no tornadoes reported. Since then, however, the National Weather Service has confirmed that the F1 was in Hondo. I believe it was in Hondo on the west side. So I don't know all the particulars about that, but so there has been one confirmed. But bottom line, they had a catastrophic failure of their system. This is the county emergency management. So this will be a wonderful opportunity for me and the new city administrator or city manager in Hondo. I met with him for lunch today, and this was one of the topics we discussed was the need to get together with the county. And of course, our newly elected mayor contacted me numerous times over during this period to talk about, okay, what are we doing? What is our plan? And unfortunately, at the time, a lot of the answers were, I don't know. I don't know what our plan is. I don't know what the protocol is. So included in your packet is everything I know up to date as far as the protocol that we follow. Mr. Stewart, who's a former councilman here in Castroville, sent that to me maybe several days after this last event. And it outlined something that was adopted in '07. And as far as Deborah and I can ascertain, that has not been changed. That's still in place. So one of the things that the mayor and I would like to do is sit down with Keith Lutz and Brian and possibly other representatives, ESD and other emergency folks, to talk about, okay, what is the best what are the protocols, best practices. What are we currently doing as far as our protocols, and what should we be doing? Because frankly, there may be some opportunity for improvement, right? And then obviously, a secondary or another issue that we need to discuss is redundancy in these systems. Under no circumstance should we be left where we can't sound the sirens. Now, I'll be honest, in today's day and age, and it's just a matter of it's a matter for discussion. Is how useful are the sirens? Are they truly helpful? Do people depend on them in some way, shape, or form? I do feel like, in some respects, technology's gotten to the point where I don't know how relative they are. But if there's a tornado, that's why I think we need to think long and hard about when did they get sounded. And in my opinion, it's got to be when there's imminent danger, when there's truly, it's an issue that's life-threatening. So strong winds and hail isn't life-threatening, but a tornado of any magnitude, EF0 is still I can't remember, it's 100 miles. The wind speed on it is still very, very, it can do some damage. And it can be life-threatening, especially if you're outdoors. So we will talk about that. And I think we had a call with Keith late last week, right, Mayor?
Yep.
And I agreed to meet maybe sometime this week. They're still reeling and picking up the pieces from the last storm. Unfortunately, over the next 5 days, I was talking to the adjuster that was here to look at the city facilities earlier this afternoon. He stated over the next 5 days, we've got rain predicted every day, and it's beginning this evening. So it's beginning this evening and for the rest of the week. So hopefully we don't run into any other extreme issues. And typically when you have rain days like that, one after another, you don't. It's when you go a long period of time and it's a lot, things heat up. I'm not a weatherman, I'm not going to preach about that, but so we'll be keeping a close eye on it, and obviously it's a major concern to me and to the mayor, and I'm sure to everyone up here, is what is our emergency response, and what are we going to do if there's a major issue, and how do we respond to it? So those are things that the mayor and I will be working on over the next couple of weeks.
And I think that, if you don't mind me interjecting,
No.
one of the things that we identified is we were missing some of the protocols. We weren't familiar enough with them. And I think that this is one of those things that we just own and say we were behind the times on this. There were items that were missing. The communication, although I've got to say Keith Lutz has been really great during the storm. He was on the phone. He had a text group up. He had the city managers, the mayors, the emergency service, so like Chief Jackson and his counterparts, and he was communicating with us like every 15 to 30 minutes during the storm. And there was a catastrophic failure on the other side. But I think that what we'll be coming back with in the next few weeks is looking at what those emergency protocols are. We're going to acclimate ourselves with them very deeply, make sure that we understand them, where the redundancy is, where the points that it can break are, and figure out a mitigation strategy with that. And the big question that's out there is, I think that it's not just protecting people, but it's also giving them that. I'd call it a warm and fuzzy, but it's a sense of security.
Sure. It's a safety issue.
That they know that things work, and so I think that we have lots of opportunity for improving that, and we'll be going over that diligently over the next few weeks.
And I'm here to help.
Yep.
I mean, that's one of my wheelhouses is emergency preparedness and disasters. And I was looking at what the state rules are on this and everything. Every week, the system, whether it be our radios here are tested, as well as their radios are supposed to be tested. Once a year, there's supposed to be an exercise with all the players. Right. Making sure, going through the steps of the plans, whether it be a tabletop or an actual exercise, going forward and everything. The plans are supposed to be reviewed annually to include the checklists for the plans and everything. And then every 5 years, the plans to be rewritten and modernized. So
And we just did that not too long ago. I think it's been, I don't think it's been 5
Well,
years.
last year was the update, but it wasn't a review and update. And that's one of the things that I think that everybody on council should be very aware of, exactly what the protocols are. Because everybody on council, we're a small town. So we get phone calls as soon as things start lighting up, as soon as things start blowing around and coming down, we get calls. So I think that everybody's got to be very familiar with what the process is. And that's part of this, is educating ourselves and making sure that everybody else is on it.
Well, and those updates and everything, the state of Texas Emergency Preparedness Division is required to approve them. And so if we don't have their approval, it's not a blessed off plan for us to use. So it's just.
It'll be fun. Yes, you will definitely be engaged. And we've talked about that before. You have that expertise.
Yeah.
If I can interject, yeah, because
Thank you.
from 2007, technology has changed a lot
Yeah.
in the last 15 years. But someone mentioned to me yesterday, they like to hear the siren.
Yep.
And I know Keith told us months ago that, well, they tested it, just a silent testing, but I think it's kind of like you're saying, that warm fuzzy. I think people kind of, if they hear it once a week on Friday at 12 noon, then that gives them a warm fuzzy, and which, you know, it's kind of a security blanket when you hear it going
I think
off.
we're in agreement about that. And that's something that will come,
It is interesting because I've been doing this just long enough to see how this works in communities. That you have to have some experience doing it. And what I've seen is there's a cycle. So you'll sound them, and people will like it because they've got the sound, and then you'll stop sounding it. Then they'll get upset. Well, we don't want to sound it anymore. We want to make it silent. We make it silent. Anyway, so it just goes in cycles.
Exactly.
I know in Flatonia we stopped sounding it in part because I think they were sounding like every day. It was very, very frequently. And it's becoming an issue where if we had a real issue,
Right.
and our issue wasn't really tornadoes so much as trains, 54 trains, going through that town every day, and Hondo has the same problem, frankly. Some of those trains are laden with some really bad stuff that if the plane were, or if the train were to be in an accident, you would need to evacuate the whole town very quickly.
Yeah.
And so that's part of the purpose of our siren system, was to do that. And so we were concerned that doing it too frequently is an issue. But that's something we're going to talk about. Tabletop exercises, something that also came up during our conversation with Keith. I think that's something we definitely need to do. There should be training for the entire council. The mayor has more than any of you. The whole council has to do a couple hours, I believe. And when I've done that in the past, we did that in a meeting, in a workshop. It's a couple of hours of training, but it isn't real time. A couple hours, like you get it's like at college, you get 4 hours of credit or whatever for this class. Same type of deal. You get you have to have several hours worth of credit, but as long as you cover the topics, it counts. So that I've done that in the past. That'll be something we'll probably do in the future. And then we need to make sure that the mayor and I have that training. But I think before we do any of that, we really need to have kind of a regional discussion with the county and other cities
Right.
about where we stand on emergency management plan.
especially as we can leverage, to your point, it's leveraging the resources that we've got from the county. They have much more resources than we do. And the more that we can leverage them, the less it burdens our staff, our finances, and it really doesn't burden them at all. So,
And you're saying the things I said to Mr. Albert this afternoon. So
Yep.
It's good. All right, well, I was just going to show you a couple
I'm just
pictures.
repeating what you've said. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, no, well, I'm just saying, I think we're on the same wavelength there, which
Yep.
is good. So, I went around this was on, I believe, April 27th. Wasn't the storm on a Wednesday night?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think this was Wednesday. So I wanted to get out while it was still raining and do so, carefully. I wasn't trying to.
Was it Wednesday or Saturday?
Thursday. It was
I don't
Thursday
know.
night, 'cause I had to work.
One of those, yeah. So I was out in it and taking pictures of kind of what I saw. This is Athens Street going north. I don't know why this particular truck decided to go this way. I thought he lived down on the corner, but then when I drove it, when it was all dry, that's just an intersection, and there's two streets on either end. You could have gone down either one of the other streets to the east or west and not driven through a river. But he drove through the river the whole way.
It's a pickup.
Yeah, I was in a pickup. I didn't want to drive down that. Pickups can get swamped too, I mean, it was bad.
Understand
And
there was a pickup at the golf course on election night that got swept away, and I don't know that they found the guy.
Well,
Really?
so the chief didn't have a report of that. You mentioned that to me too.
Okay.
I asked him about it. He said, "No, I didn't hear it. If that had happened, I would have known about it." I
All right.
haven't heard
And
it.
this street here,
Yeah.
it says it's near Lions Park, always,
Yeah,
always.
Well,
yeah.
Athens Street is designed to do that, though.
Yeah.
Well, Athens both directions. right? So,
Yeah.
and it's okay to a point. I mean, we just have issues. This is that alley you and I looked at, Mayor. This is behind Helen's house. And I wanted to get a picture of what it looked like during the event, and you can see it's really not. It's not nearly as bad as it had been.
You know, that's not technically an alley, that's really private property.
It's private property they use as an alleyway. I don't know.
Yeah.
The fences for the properties on either side, they're on either side of the alley. But anyway,
And by the way, it did happen on, it was the first rain came through Wednesday night, the second one came through Thursday.
Okay.
yeah. So I don't remember if this was a Wednesday drive-through or Thursday. It was one of those days. I believe, I don't know what street. Again, these are just generalized pictures to show you some of the flooding areas. I do have some videos. They're narrated by me, and so I did not include them because I'm just talking off the cuff as I drive around. And it's more like taking mental notes about where the issues are. And what comes after rain? It's a double rainbow if you look closely, but
Very nice.
yeah, what comes after rain is a rainbow. So we know we have a number of drainage issues. I did find a 2000 and what was it? Is Devin still here? No, he left. I can't remember. I showed him today. It's a drainage plan that is either 2012 or 2002.
Oh,
But
2000.
it's a master.
Well, it would have been after 2002.
So it's probably 2012.
It's a really comprehensive report.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's, all of them were taken care of except for the one. If that's one, there were like 6 projects and all of them were corrected except for the most expensive one.
Okay. Well, that's usually how that works.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm eager to see how that compares, you know, because corrected, like some of the pictures I saw, they were creating basically bar ditches and ditches in places. Well, I don't know if those have been maintained the way they should have been, right? So we need to go back and just see. So I want to show you, this is some of the damage. I don't know if y'all are aware, but you know, our airport did have some issues. This is what it looks like inside. This is looking at the south wall of that airport terminal building. These are 2 pictures side by side. What you're looking at is the outside of that same south wall. So you can see it looks like it's pretty. You lost some siding and some other stuff. But the picture on the right, you can actually see. I don't know if you can tell what you're looking at, but you're looking at the wall and the separation between the wall and the rafters. It's about 4 to 6 inches.
So it lifted it up off the top plate.
The wall literally
Yeah.
flew out this way. And what we think happened is the air entered the vents as it's supposed to does, and then there was basically a vacuum effect, and it blew. It didn't have anywhere to go. It blew out the back that side
We
wall.
just got a thunderstorm warning.
Yeah, we're definitely under one. I'll go back to the radar in a minute, but this is what we've done. This was so we had our adjuster go out there, and then we also, because TML requested it, we had a TML or a structural engineer come out and look at what we could do. This is what he recommended, is bracing every 8 feet. Now this was done in-house. David has his own contracting business, and so he's proficient in this kind of thing. And thankfully he was able to take care of this, and it cost the city very little money. I mean, normally you'd have to get a contractor out there, but we just bought it. It just cost us the price of the lumber. And David is taking care of that part of it. So we will get, what will happen from here is the adjuster, this was, they looked at the airport building, but they're also going to look at anywhere else, the parks, the library. They're doing a full report. That'll all go to TML, and the TML will let us know kind of what our coverage, what it'll cover and how much. I think this could present an opportunity to do some things at the airport we've been looking at doing, like an expansion to the south, depending on how much money we get for the building and what can be done with that money. If we can do more than just repair it and actually expand it, that'd be awesome. It's one of the things that we've been looking to do anyway. So sometimes,
Make it windproof.
yeah, right.
Get some hurricane straps on it.
Good luck with that. In your report is mentioned the diving board. There's 2 new dive boards that are coming in. I just wanted to show you, this is what the first one that's been installed. It's a 3-meter board. Is that right?
1 meter.
1 meter. That's 1 meter.
1 meter,
3
we're
meters,
waiting
1
on the 3-meter, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the 1 meter, and there's a 3-meter that will come in. So that's what that looks like.
By the way, you just,
What?
you mentioned me, but the couple that's donating that money, it's Mike and Arlene Smith.
Oh,
is, who are, own businesses here in town, but they're the ones that are donating.
Yeah, their children are in diving?
Grandchildren.
Grandchildren? Okay.
Is
Yeah,
a-
my granddaughter is, she's like nationally ranked,
Right.
like huge.
And
Yeah,
the
so-
coach is world ranked, the coach in diving. And so he was the one who was able to get these boards at I think they're second hand because they
Yeah, they
have
are.
another six, but they're well-built boards. These are Olympic boards.
Yeah, these would be tens of thousands of dollars if we go out and buy them. We're getting all this donated, so the coaches helped us procure it. And I think all that was in the report. I hope it was. Pretty sure I gave you Devin's update on all that. But certainly grateful to the family that brought this to our attention, and hope that this is something that serves them well. Now, we have a separate issue with the actual building at the pool. So the pool, we know, has some kind of leak. The pool isn't heated. I know that's been a topic of discussion in the past. That's another goal. If we get a heated pool, we can do a lot more at it year-round as opposed to just having kind of one season. And then separate from that is the building itself. The structural integrity of the building is in question. The adjuster was just out there today, so this is fresh hot off the presses. He said, you've got some serious structural issues out here. Now, Devin's been telling me he's seeing some cracks and other things, but the adjuster was concerned enough that he's going to have a structural engineer come out and look at the building to see if it's safe to be in. So, some serious issues at that old building. As you recall, Vernon retired. He was in our Parks Department for 5 years. I told him he set the minimum threshold to get a plaque. No one less than 5 years gets a plaque, but he really is extraordinary. He's been a great asset to the city. We hate to see him go. He's been invited to come back anytime he wants. He's going to have a tree planted in his honor in the park. But Phil was there to represent the council, and we had a little cookout for him on Friday. We did some hamburgers. This is, I left this picture in there because this is Phil instructing Vernon on how to cut the cake.
On the other pictures, I told Vernon that we named the street after him also, so Jackson.
Right, you're right. Vernon Jackson.
So you can take care of it.
Yeah.
And that is Deborah's banana pudding right there by Phil.
That was good. You guys missed
I'm
it.
still dreaming about that banana pudding. I'll tell you, it's good. And then it's just the folks we all enjoying lunch. Good turnout. So this is a celebration, and I thought, what better way to have a celebration than to provide some personal stuff.
Oh, awesome.
Let's see. I don't know if you'll be able to hear this or not. This is a proud papa moment. So Jesse is my oldest. This was when y'all were texting me last night. This was what was going on at the same time. So I was getting texts from Sheena and Darren about the storms.
While you're trying to video.
And well, no. I was not there, but my family, my parents, I had lots of people in Ennis that I've made friends with over the years, were there celebrating their children. Like, hey, where are you? Are you here? I'm like, no, I'm in Castroville. But I told them to cheer extra loud. So my parents didn't cheer at all because they said, don't cheer till the very end. But you hear a bunch of cheering when she's getting all that. And that's, I think, a lot of the friends that I said, yell really loud.
Well, I'm glad you had internet.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. So we're very, very proud of her. Now just for your benefit, we have 3 daughters. She's the oldest. She's achieved valedictorian there in Ennis. Very proud of her. She gets that all from her mom. That's not from me. But I do have a middle child, and she is following very closely in her sister's footsteps. So there's Jessie with all her awards, and Darby's next to her. Tonight is actually, right now, is Darby's award ceremony. So I'm probably going to have a similar video from her mom on that one. And then there's Jessie, and then Jessie and my wife Kelly celebrating this. So very, very proud of her. Oh, there's my parents. So I did the 4 Horsemen. Darren got to meet my mother. She's there in the maroon on the right, and my father on the left. And then the other thing I was going to share with y'all tonight, and this is, sure I've got. Oh yeah, I was going to show you this. So I found out that my 5th great-grandmother was born in Alsace, France. And I've got all the documentation here to prove it. So I don't know that it makes me officially Alsatian, because I'm sure there's probably more that goes into it, but I'm still very proud of that heritage, and I think it's just another sign that I'm supposed to be here and serving you all.
When we were interviewing you, if you'd put that on your resume,
Right?
you had an easier decision for
Right.
us.
Right. Didn't know until this very recently. I don't know, there's a couple other items mentioned in our report that I'll just speak to briefly. We did have the airport fencing project. Y'all recall that you authorized us to go out and look at maybe having that line cleared. I'm looking at actually having it cut and cleared instead of just, and then put the fence up next to it. So that's going to be a lot cheaper than dozing trees and all that. We would just prune basically the trees and chip in place, and then put the fence basically within 2 feet of the existing. So the existing fence would stay there. We put a new fence up.
You said in your report that there were some easements there, that the 2 utility easements, and trying to get them. Where are those easements? I thought in your report you said there was a couple of easements in getting those utilities to handle those, clearing those easements. Or did I
No,
misread?
what I said was that we are looking at using we reached out to some of the firms that the utility companies utilize to clear their easements. It has nothing to do with their airport easements, but yeah, these are the railroad. So we're reaching out to some of those larger companies that can give us a pretty good deal, because they're already in the area doing a lot of this work. So that was the goal there. I mentioned pool improvements, HR outsourcing. I had a suspicion that we'd be able to outsource our HR stuff for less than it would cost to have a full-time person, and I've pretty much validated that. I think I mentioned in the report that we're looking at utilizing ADP, a really well-respected name, really recognized in the market, and I'll talk more about that as I have another meeting. I think after our meeting tomorrow, Phil, I've got to come back here for a meeting with ADP online. So I'll get more information on that as that gets closer, and where I'm actually going to have to pull the trigger on that. I'll let you know what that is. Council retreat. I've asked for dates. If you would please coordinate with Deborah on doing that. My family is going to move down the weekend. Memorial weekend is the plan. So they have to be in a parade on the 29th, and then that evening, I hope to have them all loaded up. We're going to drive down here, unpack on Sunday, and hopefully sleep on Monday. The COVID relief funding, still waiting on information there, but it looks like we may get our first check next month, and it looks like they're going to try to break it out over 2 years is the best information I have right now. I really can't make any plans on how to spend it, because I just don't have any guidelines in hand yet. The City Hall, fiber for the City Hall, I did get a quote back from AT&T, so when I wrote this report, I didn't have AT&T's quote in hand. I do have it now. They won't charge us for construction, but they will. But their monthly charge is a lot. It's really, really, really high, like $1,200 a month for 500 megabit internet, compared to I think it's 700 and something for ComZoom. So when you look at the cost of construction, which is we're estimating around $11,000, and I'm going to try and get ComZoom to whittle that down as low as we can get it. And I'm also going to get him, he's already agreed to let us pay for it over 2 years. So we pay for some of it in this budget cycle, and some of it in the next budget cycle. But the whole purpose of this is just to get us some reliable, we have issues with our phone system already, to give us reliable internet for phone. And my concern is, when I looked at like just the backup, I figured we'll probably need 2 sources. AT&T gets cut, ComZoom has an issue, we ought to have a redundant source. But AT&T's redundant, their 100 megabit price was more than what I'm currently paying ComZoom for what we have at both the PD and city combined. So it'd be very expensive to have AT&T even as a redundant source. So I don't know what the solution is, and I'm sure I'll talk to our mayor more about that, because he's kind of operates in that realm every day.
And we can build a redundancy into the system, not necessarily into the line, so there's ways to do it.
Okay. I'm gonna let you help me with that. And then Amoresco, you heard Mayor Lee mention this, we were going to talk about it tonight. Not really. I provided the report. My intention is on May 25th we'll talk about it. I'll bring it back again for approval, keeping in mind that this is just approving their study. It's not approving an automated meter system. And the whole purpose of having doing that study is helping us understand, well, what is our water loss? How much could we gain from putting in new meters? And is it worth it to accelerate a new meter replacement program or not? And I really don't know those answers. I can speculate at some of them. And then there's all the other benefits to having AMR if we end up going that route. But frankly, there's a lot of high priority issues. And there's a lot of issues we'd like to do. There's a lot of issues we really need to do. I think Mayor Lee and I talked about how he categorizes things. Is it a must do? Is it something you have to do right now? Is it a want to do? Is it a wish to do? And I think we've got a long list with lots and lots of costs. So we'll talk more about that. I'm really looking forward to our retreat. So hopefully, I know the next item is going to be calendaring, I believe. And part of that discussion, maybe we can talk about, well, when can we meet and do a retreat? The purpose of the retreat would be to go over the budget, basically first pass of the budget, but then also have some kind of group discussion about what is your vision for Castroville and what are your priority items. And so we might actually go through a forced ranking exercise where I have y'all look at a laundry list of capital opportunities without looking at costs or anything else, but like just a laundry list of different capital items and investments, and then have you force rank them so that we all know where each of you stands and where you stand collectively, if that makes sense. So we'll probably do that during that retreat as well. That's it for my report. If you have any questions, I'm open and willing to field them.
Any questions?
Okay. Thank you, Ernie.
And the thing that I'll ask of each one of you is make sure that you go through these, understand that especially the things that he put on this report, there are many items that we are going to come back to. He said this before, what he likes to do is to come in and present the item, give you a chance to think about it and to ponder it, to talk to folks about it, do your research on those, and then we'll come back after Scott and his staff have had a chance to put some stuff together. So just understand that the things that are on here, they are going to be follow-up items, so please prepare yourselves for that. Great, thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you taking all the time. I know that it went through really quickly. I know there was a ton of work that went into actually putting that together in the midst of everything else that was going on, so thanks for putting in that time and effort. Okay, so next item is discuss and possible action on setting a date, time, place, and topic for airport work session. Do you have your calendars available so that we can take a look at it?
Well, let me ask this. So we talked about it, Deborah and I talked about this, whether this needs to be a work session or a town hall. So a work session is where all of you are going to be present and you're going to talk through it. I thought that when we kind of did that when we had the presentation from David on the report, and then we went into executive session and had the attorney give her opinion on the report, and then we now have posted that report online, so it's available, it's out there, it's people can see it. I thought the purpose of this meeting, purpose of this meeting would be to then just open it up for public discussion.
Right.
So there is, just for your information, I mean, there is a difference between a work session where y'all are going to talk about it in a public setting, or a town hall where you're just going to invite people to come in and ask questions and have some discussion. Maybe we could have David do the same presentation he did for y'all at, or someone else at a town hall type meeting.
Honestly, I think that the way that we approach that is we started with a town hall, and I think actually before we schedule that, I think that we should talk to the Baseball Association because they would be key attendees of this.
Well, that's really, I mean, for the most part, that's who it's for, I think. I mean, the biggest
Well, there's some other
issues,
people that have questions about it and concerns about it, so, but yeah, you're right, they're primary ones.
So you think not schedule a town hall, have a discussion with the Baseball Association first?
No, I think that we schedule a town hall, invite the Baseball Association. It doesn't need to be exclusive. This is, opening it up to the town, the community, the stakeholders, anybody that wants to come in and discuss it, talk about it, throw around some ideas. I think we set aside some time to do that. I think that we do a follow-up with council in a workshop based on that. So I still do think it's kind of a retreat kind of thing. You do the town hall in the evening, or you do the town hall at one point, and then you do a follow-up with council, because then we can get all the input and all of the ideas and all of that information from the other stakeholders, and we can make good decisions moving forward like that, or get more targeted discussion.
So the town hall, if we were to do that, where would we do it? I know we talked about Braden Keller.
Yeah, I think Braden Keller would be the right location.
Okay. And then as far as when, it's about our availability, but it's, if one of the major groups we want to have there is the Baseball Association, this is in the middle of their season, right? So we have to pick a night when they're not, either do it during the day in the summer, or pick a night when they're not out there. And I don't know what, I do not know what their calendar is. I don't even know where to access it. I'm sure we can look it up.
Well, let's talk to them and get some dates from them that work, and then let's have them as primary, and then we'll just, if they give us 2 or 3 dates, we'll pick from those dates. I think that'll be the easiest. I would rather work around their schedule.
I've had some very good discussions with Brian Zinsmeyer.
Yep.
He's very receptive, and he's kind of a no-nonsense guy. He'll tell you what he's thinking, which is good. I appreciate that. I'm kind of that way too. So I think we're going to have a good relationship there. So I'll definitely reach out to him and see what their availability is.
Perfect.
Maybe talk to him, and then also the Braden Keller Center, and see when it's available.
Yeah.
I'll be speaking with them because I do know they have different associations that have meetings there, but with it being this, we probably need a larger, probably like where we had the town hall for the Alsatian Oaks or something, see when that's available.
Yep.
To help.
And then we talked about doing something for River Bluff as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's it'd be premature to try to do it today.
Right.
But we do need to do something soon. And so
We need to do it before we make decisions on it.
Yeah, well, definitely. Right now so where they're at, and do you want to? I know I share all this with you. Do you want to talk about where we're at right now for River Bluff?
I'm sorry. Do you want me to?
Do you remember? So I know we're at basically the structural. They're confirming they call it field work. So they're doing all their field work to confirm. Here's where the assets are. They're going to be replaced. Here's where existing lines are. So this is all doing the engineering to then go and take it out for bids. So we're early, nowhere near construction. I know there's been a lot of concerns. What do these paint lines mean? Why are they in our front yard? What are they doing?
Well, one of the crazy things that's out there, when we first started talking about redoing the River Bluff electrical, is somebody threw out there a suggestion of moving it to the front yards. That spun up real fast of, city council said it's going to the front yards, we have no say. And I've been telling people, no, that is not what was said. It was just a suggestion, nothing set in stone. We're going to have, so a lot of people would like to have this town hall meeting after we, get all the legwork done, and to get their feedback, because like one of the individuals was like, well, I'm in one of the flood areas that flooded this last go around, and if you put it in the front yard, it's going to sink real quick because my front yard always floods because of the rain and everything. So after we get the legwork done, it'd be great to come with them with all the information and go from there.
And as we go through this, I mean, we have several different options, and we're definitely concerned with our responsibilities as representatives of the city. We have a responsibility to the people who live in River Bluff. We have a responsibility to make sure that you have reliable electrical service to the best of our ability. We have a responsibility to River Bluff and the entire city to be fiscally responsible. And we have a responsibility to the homeowners to make sure that we are not decreasing home values. So there are a lot of things there's a lot of moving parts to this. And so to Scott's point, I think that staff is doing a great job of going through and doing all the research, understanding there's also serviceability.
Yeah.
If you think about how many people have you seen that have taken pictures, who's this person walking in my backyard?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the meter reader.
Oh, yeah.
And to be able to service them, and so there's going to be a lot of, there's trade-off here. So I just want to make sure that that we take a look at this and make sure that we hit all of those parameters, but we do it out in the open so people understand what the decision matrix looks like.
So the city secretary reminded me this is not on the agenda. It was just the airport.
Oh,
I thought it was a
sorry.
calendaring item. No, it's my fault. I thought it was a calendaring. I brought it up.
Oh.
It's my fault. But we're going to put this under item.
Scott, why are you getting me in trouble?
Yeah, this is item 12, discussion of future agenda items.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll talk about River Bluff on a future agenda. But
Okay, thank you.
I think one of the things I would suggest is that, be careful, and we're not committing one way or the other.
Yeah.
Whether we are going to put in front yards or not, we really need to have that advice, as the mayor was just saying.
Yep.
We need to have our engineer and come in and explain, here are the pros, cons to doing it, and here's all the different ways you can do it. Now and then listen to the public, and then, y'all make an informed decision that way.
Right.
So anything else on future agenda items since we jumped forward to that?
Yeah, well, I want to talk about the dates for a retreat. If you
We're
could-
talking to the Baseball Association first though, right? Are you talking about for the Air Force?
Retreat.
Okay.
This is for just for y'all.
Just
to do
planning.
Budget
Budget.
and capital planning, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So one of the things that Deborah and I talked about is whether or not, I'm used to doing it on the weekend, but I by no means have to do it on the weekend. We can do it during the week. I know that there's at least one of you that still works, or two of you that still work fairly regularly, and Phil kind of still works a lot. So I don't want to take up your time. I don't know what Todd's schedule is like. I want to be sensitive to what your needs are. So what I'd like y'all to do is just let me know. I know for me personally, I know that like the week, I've told you they're moving on May 29th. I'd like to do this after the 25th. Once y'all appoint someone else, are we going to have that item?
Yep.
On the 25th, yes.
That's item
Yeah,
number
that's
11.
we skipped that one. We'll go back to that one. So once y'all decide who you're going to appoint to the 20th, that would be, once that person's in place, then we'd schedule something. So the 29th, I'll be moving. That Memorial Day weekend, that weekend doesn't work for me. The week probably be fine. And then the only other time that I know of right now for sure is in June, early part of June like 9th to the 14th, which is like a Wednesday to Sunday. I have a conference. Other than that, pretty much anytime y'all have.
I think we should do it as soon as practical. This is something that we've got to get on top of, and I think we waited way too long last year and kind of hit the gun at the end. I'm amazed that we were able to accomplish what we did in that short period of time, so I do want to get on that as soon as possible. And depending on what the rest of council is available to do, I can do, if you want to do like half days for a few days, I can take half days off. I don't mind doing it on the weekends. I don't mind doing it during the week. It's easier to do it so that I'm like splitting up the days, but that's just me. I'm just one of the group.
Well, and typically what I would like to try and get is at least 6 to 8 hours out of you over 2 days.
Right.
Yes.
So 3 hours a day, 3 to 4 hours a day, and we'll feed you.
And we can do longer. I mean, we can do noon to 6. Because I know you love
Maybe.
doing it.
We'll see.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, you can be weekend or weekdays. I'm available either
Okay.
way.
Right.
I can be flexible.
All right.
I'm flexible.
So I'll send you, we'll
So let's
just
talk to Todd.
pretend Todd agrees with all of you. I'll send y'all some dates then.
Oh,
and
yeah.
We'll just.
Absence
talk
is
about
agreement.
Which will work best. That's right. We'll remember that, Mayor. Be careful.
I know. All right.
All right. Thank you. So we'll move back to 11, I guess.
All right, great. So number 11, declare a vacant seat for District 5 with applications accepted until May 20th, 2021 at 5 p.m.
I put this up on the website, had it approved by the city attorney, I put one together. And so it is on the website, and there is hard copies out in the front. If anybody has any questions, they can call me on, they need to be in that district at least 6 months, registered voter, 18 or older. So it's basically what we already have for everybody else.
Great.
So I will accept them, and we'll have it on the next agenda for y'all to make a decision.
Is there any questions about that process, how that plays out? Because you're going to, I joked with one of the candidates that there's going to have to be a swimsuit competition. But,
Hey, that's how I got on council.
yeah, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
Swimsuit contest.
I bet. So they'll submit basically applications. They'll fill out their applications, and you're going to choose from however many we get. I know we've got at least 2 interested parties now.
Yes.
But we may have more.
Maybe more.
So you'll basically to choose.
Possibly
It's not a
3.
popularity contest. I mean, you'll have some discussion, but we're going to send those to them as part of their packet prior to the meeting.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I want them turned in on the 20th so that I have time to get them in the packet for you when I post it for the meeting for the 25th.
Okay.
So you
And
have
that's
time to
why
look it
I
over.
asked for that.
There's no, you're not breaking any laws by reaching out to these folks. If there's someone who expresses interest and you want to talk to them about what their issues, concerns are, they're not elected officials yet. You can have all the conversations you want on a one-on-one basis with them.
And hopefully whoever does apply, they'll come that night if you have more questions or, just.
Do we give them the opportunity, if there's multiple, to maybe do a presentation and make their case?
That's up to
Well,
y'all. I've
and
not
I'll
heard
tell
of
you,
that.
here, we've never had that luxury.
Okay.
In general, we've always had one person, and sometimes we've had to ask them nicely to be on the council. So if we have more than one.
Begging, I think.
Yeah, must be implied. But we can do
Okay.
a short thing. I know they can send a resume in to where you kind of see it, and that way, when they come that night to, see who is appointed, they might have some, maybe you have some questions for them. You could ask them some stuff. Presentation, I don't know, we can.
Maybe
Well,
do
let's
that.
cross that bridge if we
Depends on
come
how
to
I
it.
said maybe a good way to
meeting is.
weed people out. You want me to do a what? Never mind.
Thought that was the bathing suit contest.
Yeah. Well, that could work.
By the way, I know of 3 people that have shown interest.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it may be a very popular seat, which is great. I'm glad, someone is interested to come in.
Good that
and
people are
serve.
wanting to volunteer and get involved and be a
Yes.
part of the success of the city. So I think
Exactly.
that's good. Okay. Sounds great. All right. I believe that we're through our agenda, so unless there's...
Can I add something for a future agenda
Yes,
item?
please. Sorry.
If we can get an update of how cleanup Pasterville's going,
Okay. Yeah,
because we're supposed to be
we
straightening.
may have enough information by the 25th. If not, it'll definitely be on the first meeting in June.
Oh, and I should have announced that at the very beginning. We're doing the cleanup, so Helen had repurposed. Is it okay to just
Yeah.
announce this? So Helen,
Future agenda item.
as a future agenda item, we'll talk about the cleanup that will happen this weekend. Helen Delavan actually repurposed the park cleanup day. She's going to repurpose all of those people who are going to meet over at Public Works at 8 a.m. on Saturday. And so we're looking for people to help and looking for people that need help. And so we're just going to lock arms as a community and fix stuff up. So,
I hope it doesn't rain to
yeah,
stop it.
I got
Awesome.
raincoats. All right.
You never heard of
Anything else?
the song "Cleaning Up in the Rain"?
Cleaning up in the rain. Yeah.
Goes hand in hand with dancing in the rain.
He's gonna sing it for us.
Is this the song that was performed during your swimsuit competition?
That's a talent. It's a talent.
All right, unless there's any objections, we will adjourn now at 6:15. It's a record.
I said, is that the shortest one I've had?
Yes.
Is that over?
As the mayor.
I'm trying to set a good precedence. Well, thank you guys for keeping it light.